Well, hey, what's going on? So I'm working on the Jeep today and addressing little cosmetic issues this Jeep has. It is 23 years old, and a big one that's been bothering me is that the door panels are black and the dash is tan. So I want to get all this re-dyed back to tan. Also have a little crack going on here I'm going to get situated. So I'm going to go ahead and pull everything off, and I'm just going to slowly start cutting away at this. Okay, first things first, I'm going to have to take the window crank out. There's a little clip in here. Okay, so here's what it will look like, and this is the you're wanting to remove. So you really need something with an angle to get at it. I did it with a regular screwdriver. Ideally, you want an angled pick, and you're just going to kind of pull outward. Might have to finesse it a little bit, but it just pops right out. Okay, so we got the panel off. The hardest part was getting this up. You kind of have to lift up from here. You've got a pop pin that goes right here, pop pin that goes right here, one right here, here, and here, and those are the two screws that we took out just a little bit ago, the T15s. But other than that, it was relatively easy. The plastic tabs being real old, I did break a couple of those. I wouldn't worry too much about those. You can replace them pretty easy. As you can see here, they just kind of clip out. Take a look at this crack here. So here's the crack, and it must just be a weak point, and it looks like somebody's already tried to fix it. It looks like a little residual glue maybe. So I'm going to go back to the body store, and I'm going to figure out if we're going to do some sort of a fiberglass or some sort of a bonding agent to fix this permanently. Alright, there we go. Just want to say, make sure you check both sides. That, as you can see here from the top side, that's where I had the mark drawn, because that was where this crack had ended, but actually it was ended right here because I went from the rear to make sure, and it was actually right here. So just make sure you double check that before you drill your hole. It might actually be a little bit further down. Okay, it's been about 3 days since I last braced this up. It looks a lot better. As you can see, there's still some waviness. I'm really not too worried about that. Once I put that window trim back on here, you won't really see that. Thankfully, this is all evened out now. I'm really pumped about that. So I'm going to come back here with some JB Weld. Then I'll come back with some super glue and fill the hole and crack in right here, and take a razor blade and just kind of shave it down. And the rest of the dye will cover that. Really pumped. Basically what I did is I let it braced up for about 3 days and put it in the heat, put it back outside in the cold, put it in the heat, put it back outside, and I think it really helped. I could probably continue trying to fix this warped plastic right here. That's not really necessary. It just is what it is at this point. So, alright, so I ended up doing this a little bit differently. I called a buddy, and he decided I should probably use a stronger glue, and he took 80 grit sandpaper and roughed in between the crack itself and then behind it, and we took a piece of clear plastic like this, clear piece of plastic, wrapped it over here so the glue wouldn't stick to the wood, and then just clamped it down, heated it up a few times, let it sit. So originally I tried using JB Weld, and the first time it worked really well. I taped all this off. It looked really clean. Then I took super glue over the crack. Unfortunately, right here was bent, and I didn't get to that right away, so I went back to try to heat it up and rebend it, and unfortunately I ended up breaking what I had fixed. So I tried to JB weld it again. It broke again. So after the second time, I decided to call my buddy, and that's when we ended up deciding to use this mesh, which I'll throw a clip there of all of what we used and how we did it. But it's working really well. You can see it's all one piece now. There's no give. I'm very confident in this. Unfortunately, with the JB weld, it's almost like glass. I don't think it would hold like the glue I'm going to show you. And obviously having this mesh too, you're going to need some sort of support behind here with a crack like this. So anyways, I'm going to shave this down with a razor blade, try to cut what I can cut. Dremel would be really nice right now, but I don't have one. So I'm going to see how well I can kind of clean this up and get it prepped, and hopefully tomorrow I can get this painted. I've got the other one right here next to me. I'm ready to get this over with, get them back together. I spent a couple hours today going to different stores trying to find pop pins. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any, so I might have to order some of those. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So you can see here I shaved off quite a bit of the back and a lot of this glue up top here. Now I'm going to go back and kind of smooth a lot of it out with 180, and should be good after that. The sandpaper helped a lot. I was just going to shave it down with a razor blade. So then I knocked it down with 180, and then I think I'm going to try to texturize this a little bit with either use a soldering gun or kind of try to heat something up to mimic the texture going on here. Even if I didn't do that, it would still look fine. I'm just happy now that it's fixed. It ain't gonna give, so that's good. I'll prep all this tonight and then hopefully spray it tomorrow. I'll show a little clip of that, but I already did one. So hopefully I can find some pop pins and wrap this project up. I'm ready to be done with it. This is taking like way too long, but I've saved a lot of money doing this, and the Jeep really needed it, so. This is 2 coats in right now. before you go and paint, you're gonna wanna heat this up and then let it sit and then heat it up again just to let it kind of get acclimated, and then you'll want to paint the panel and then go back with the heat gun again. You can do circular motions or back and forth. I kind of do both. It doesn't really matter. Alright, I'm done. I'm gonna let it cure for probably a day, maybe half a day, I'm not really sure. And I'll go ahead and put them back on, but as you can see there, you can definitely see it, but half of it's gonna be covered up anyways, so it came out really good though. Alright, I'm going back inside, it's freezing. I want to talk about a few things I did that I didn't really explain. On the crack, I drilled the crack out because if you don't do that, it will continue growing. And then as you can see in that clip too, I was talking about going from the back to make sure that the crack wasn't actually further, which it was, and I ended up drilling it where I needed to be. So if you do have a crack, keep that in mind. Heat is really important. It's cold right now where I live, so a heat gun's really important. I would say do that before, and then right after you do your first spray, you want to go real light with your sprays. So this is the sequence I use. 1 through 5 passes were light, 6, 7 were heavy, and then 8 was just what was left. Just make sure you pay attention to these really intricate areas around here. They're really easy to miss. Wipe it down with alcohol, and then everything else should go pretty smooth there. Try to go with the wind too. I figured that out on the second time. You just want to go with the wind. That being said too, you kind of want to go the other way too when it's textured like this. You're not necessarily hitting every angle, so sometimes you might want to go back this way if you notice there's a little bit of darkness still hanging there. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to link everything in the description. I'm going to go mount these up, and we'll just take a look there in a second. Alright, we're all put back together here. See, it matches very well. This is held together pretty well without the pop pins, so honestly you could probably get away with just not doing those. I'm not even going to worry about them. I didn't put the window seal back in. I'm actually going to order some new ones for like 25 bucks. But don't sweat the pop pins. Honestly, I just pulled them all out because I mean half of them were broken anyway, so yeah, I'm really pumped though. I'll go knock that one out real quick. I'm not going to film that though. Yep, it broke again. it was curved in the middle, and I just could not get the thing back on there and ended up cracking. Luckily, it's still solid, so I ended up just filling it up with glue, taping again. I'll just respray it again. It's not a big deal. Had a couple little boo-boos here I'll touch up. These little paint nibs right here, you can just spray a little can into a can. You can just touch this stuff real easy. So that sucks, but I just wanted to at least show that. I didn't want it to seem like everything went smooth. But anyways, it's on there now, so there's not really a whole lot I can do. Anyways, it looks like that's doing a good job though. I'll go back and probably just tape this off and give it a quick little coat. But everything else came out really well on it, considering. I learned a lesson from this whole job is if somebody says they can do something for you and they hadn't done it before, probably just don't let them do it. It's not the guy that had helped me, not my buddy that had helped me, but somebody beforehand didn't really know what they were doing, is kind of what caused all this warpness, especially in the middle here. So it sucks. It's not completely their fault. I shouldn't have let them do it, but they were just trying to help me out, so it's not a big deal. My buddy did do a good job behind there. It's still solid. It's just kind of cracked on the outside here, so it's nothing a little glue or Bondo won't fix. That's just part of it, so not a big deal. I'm going to touch this stuff up, and we'll go do a little walk around of it. Alright, so that's the finished product. Came out really great. This one was real easy to get back on. The other one, on the other hand, was kind of a pain. It was kind of curved in right here, which made it really difficult to get back on. Did have to do a little touch up. It's a little messy looking, but it is what it is. It's back together. Didn't do the window seal frames. I'm not going to put those back on most likely. Just they don't really need to be there. They keep stuff from falling in. But other than that, they don't really need to be there. So I don't know. I might buy new ones. The other ones were just so warped. So I just kind of left it off. I don't plan on pulling this thing off anytime soon. It was just such a mother to get back on there. But now it came out good. You can see it's a little bit light. Well, I don't know. It matches pretty good. That's just a little bit more faded, I think. But no, it came out really good. I'm happy with it. So, yep. I had to touch up a couple little places, but no big deal. I'm just glad to be done with it. Eventually come back and do this. That'll be another day, though. I'm over this for the time being. One last look. The black definitely contrasts the tan really well. So, just try to keep it as OEM as possible. That's how it was from the factory. Glad I spent the time taping all that stuff off. If it wasn't for that door panel, this probably would have taken me 3 days, tops. Probably wouldn't even have taken me that long. I had a couple hang-ups. The first time I had somebody help me, they kind of warped that one. That's why it was such an issue. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm glad my other buddy was able to figure it out. So anyways, let's just take a little look here. Quit talking.